If you're a college student, keep watching.
One of my least favorite things about writing papers in college was remembering the correct format for my citation.
All right. Wow. It's kind of hypnotic. Check that out. Well, welcome back after a long, somewhat long hiatus. I apologize for that. Been trying to be more consistent with this, but I have some exciting news. So I recently accepted a position as an application pen tester. So I've been transitioning from my old job to this position, and I just, it's been a lot for me. I haven't really had the energy to be streaming. On top of that, I think I'm coming down with something, but I feel like I'm kind of coming out of it. I don't know, just a little bit of chest congestion and stuff. So it's been a while. I don't really remember where I am, but we're going to be doing Portswigger WebAcademy again. We'll just go through once Callie boots up, and we'll figure out where we left off. Is that even the right VM? This is some good music. I should have been using this one for the previous streams as well. And there we go. Let's get started. So, Portswigger WebAcademy. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I was doing some, well, let's turn proxy off for a second. I was doing some janky stuff with my nick. I don't know if it's, oh, it is. Okay. I don't know if that's right. I'm going to make sure the network setting is right on that, because I don't want to be tunneling it through something I shouldn't be. Yeah, it's not even running. Sorry if anybody's watching right now. I'm just kind of getting back into it. I want to make sure I'm setting this up right. And indeed, I have this connected to the wrong thing. We'll get it connected to the right one. Oh, I have two nicks now. Okay, well, we don't need two. That probably just toasted the VM. We'll probably need to reboot now or something. Who knows? Yeah, it's gonna have to at least restart remote desktop. Wow, a bunch of noob mistakes. If anybody's out there and wants to chat, now's probably a good time. It's going to take me a minute to get back up and going. Yeah, I broke it. I'm going to have to reboot the VM. Bear with me, guys. We will get this going, I promise. Hunterbot just got here. What happened? Not a whole lot, Hunterbot. I guess I just did the intro speech, so I've been away for a while. A lot of it has been just stress-induced, and I've been feeling burnt out, but for a good reason. I took on a new position as a pen tester, so a lot of the stress has been from me transitioning out of my old job into this one. So it's a good stress, but still, it's been hard to keep up with all of that and then want to study at night as well. But I'm feeling better now. I had my second day on the job today, and then just getting back into studying. I toasted the VM, so I'm rebooting it now. How have you been, Hunterbot? It's been a while since I've talked to you. Did you ever get your PNPT debrief scheduled? Speaking of the PNPT, Swag. There we go. I need to get new headphones too. If anybody has suggestions for headphones, no lol, I'm still procrastinating. Oh man, get on that. Hack the Box Academy. I think Tyler was working on that too. He said it's pretty good. Are you enjoying it? Yeah, it's great stuff. It's like CRTP, but better. I'm not sure what that is, CRTP. Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one before. I think we've gone through these. Brute forcing, we got all those done. These ones are done. Multi-factor. I think this is where we were. I think we were working on multi-factor. 2FA bypass using a brute force attack. I think I got to the point here. The turbo intruder extension. Does that let you bypass the rate limiting? Because that would be pretty cool. But also, I have access to Burt Pro now. I probably won't use it for this. I feel it's an exam that's all Active Directory. It shows you how to do everything on Windows instead of Linux. Oh, that's pretty cool. I feel like the OSCP does that too. A lot of the AD enumeration is via Windows commands. I could be remembering that wrong. Ready to hunt. How's it going? Good to see you again. Or I guess see your text again. I don't know. Just working on this again. I don't remember why I got stuck on this one last time. This lab's two-factor authentication. Was this the one that we were trying to brute force the pin burp macros in conjunction with burp intruder to solve this lab? For more information about macros, please refer to this documentation. Why turbo intruder? Why not? I don't get it. Maybe if I'd read. As with passwords, websites need to take steps to prevent brute forcing of the two-factor authentication verification code. This is especially important because the code is often a simple 4 or 6-digit number without adequate brute force protection. Cracking such a code is trivial. Some websites attempt to prevent this by automatically logging a user out if they enter a certain number of incorrect verification codes. This is ineffective in practice because an advanced attacker can even automate this multi-step process by creating macros for burp intruder. The turbo intruder extension can also be used for this purpose. So it looks like we can either create a macro or use turbo intruder. And it sounds like turbo intruder is going to allow us to chain an authentication with a pin attempt. That way, if we get kicked out after a few failures, we'll be able to re-authenticate without much work. How's the new pen testing job so far? Still doing newcomer briefs? Yeah, essentially. Been shadowing with this guy so far, and it's been really cool. Faux Hammer 419. Well, hello there. How's it going, Faux Hammer? Yeah, Hunterbot. It's been just kind of shadowing, reading standard operating procedures, getting used to the different systems. So I've never used G Suite before. Obviously, I have like Gmail and stuff, but I've never used the business end of it. It's always been Office 365 for me. So getting used to that, getting used to just kind of... Fohammer says, not bad. Just doing some try hack me and getting scripts loaded on my VM Kali. Awesome. What are you working on in try hack me? Or are you going through a learning path or just some random rooms? Maybe some King of the Hill or something? Let's get this installed. It looks like we're going to need it for the next challenge. Oh, I'll have to turn dark mode on in my burp suite now. I have it set up in Cali. Going through Nmap right now, gearing up to get OSCP next year. Aye, right on. That's about where I was a year ago, so that's awesome. I'm sure it'll be an exciting year for you. Probably frustrating, but exciting as well. Oh my gosh, I probably should update now. How many times have I ignored that message? You guys, I really need new headphones. These just don't want to stay in my ears. Let's save this file, and then we'll install the update here. Open with Vim? No thanks. Yeah, I'm working on my OSCP 2. Yeah, you guys are both in the OSCP Discord channel, right? Or the in the Work Smarter Discord, we have an OSCP prep channel. I think, I'm not sure, Fohammer, if you're in there, but I'm pretty sure Ready to Hunt is. Hack into the mainframe. Just kind of clicking around over here. Question for you. I'm going through a bunch of OSCP advice review videos on YouTube, and the two pieces of terminology or jargon that I'm coming across that's annoying to me are enumeration and methodology. If you've got a second, could you break those down? And yeah, I'm in the Discord. Yes, I can break those down. Methodology is the order in which you do things or the steps that you need to do. So I guess in a more concise, maybe not more concise. I can ramble about it for a minute. So without methodology, you may skip things. Without methodology, you might just get a gut feeling and go after something. But methodology is like using a check sheet or saying, I'm going to try this and then try this and then try this. Enumeration is part of the methodology. So I'm pretty sure in most cases, the hacker methodology is passive enumeration, active enumeration, which are also like reconnaissance. That might actually not be right. I've always looked at enumeration and reconnaissance as the same thing, but that might not be true. Enumeration might be kind of mapping the attack surface as you get closer. But anywho, methodology and enumeration are different in the sense that methodology is more of like an etherical thing. So for example, I don't have a good web methodology, but when it comes to web enumeration, I know which scan tools to use. Now you're making me realize that I don't really know the difference between the two words. Why'd you gotta do that? Well, now we gotta look it up. But so if you're looking for methodology, I would say go, yeah. Thanks for not booing me off stage, guys. I would say check with Hacktricks. If you're struggling, well, and that was like one of the first sublinks too. Here's the web methodology. Here's just pen testing methodology. And this is going to be like, usually this is going to be like a checklist. Oh, this is breaking it down into different types of attacks. So let's say that we were doing a network pen test. This would be Hopefully this is going to pull up a checklist, because that's, anytime I look for methodology, that's usually what comes up. I guess not. But essentially, if we look over here, so discovering hosts from the outside. So this is a network pen test. And the first step in that is going to be host discovery. So if you're on the outside, it covers it here. ICMP packets or ping. I heard the OSCP is really AD heavy. I don't know. Unless they've changed it. It's not AD heavy. They include AD on it. But I wouldn't say that it's AD heavy. I had a much more realistic experience on the PNPT for Active Directory. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to have a good answer for this. So, Fohammer, if you ever come up with the answer to that, or if you get a more specific answer to that, definitely come back to the group and share it with us. But for the most part, I think enumeration is you use tools to enumerate, right? So enumeration is discovering attack vectors and looking for vulnerabilities to exploit. Methodology is the order in which you do something, or instead of chaotically trying to hack into something, you're adding a method to the madness. It might not be the best explanation, but if you find a better one, let me know. So we have an updated version of Burp Suite now. Let's go ahead and open it with not Vim. Probably shouldn't run that as sudo. Burp. Community. I don't even know how to Linux anymore, you guys. And my headphones won't stay in my ears. This day can't get any worse. I do need to be sudo. No, I need to bin bash it because it's not executable. Yeah, the best analogy I could come up with for methodology is sports. You can use a trick play and it might work, but in the long run, strong fundamentals will win out. Yeah, that seems legitimate. Create symlinks. At Fohammer, yeah, that frustrated me when I first started. I also used to hate the you didn't enumerate enough. Yeah, so just like automate the enumeration then. I would highly recommend using auto recon. I shouldn't say never. There were only 1 or 2 times where auto recon did me dirty, and it wasn't because of auto recon. It was because I started scanning before the services were up, or like I was scanning a Windows host and just the IP instead of adding the host name to Etsy host. But yeah, I mean, definitely learn the fundamentals and learn how to manually enumerate. But if you're going into an assessment or you're going into an exam, like, why stress yourself with manual enumeration when there are tools out there to chain all the most important things together and enumerate for you? I'm going to swap out... I'm going to take a... Oh, no, they're right here. I'm going to swap out these ear things and see if I can get the headphones to stick in my ears better. That's probably boring. You guys probably don't want to watch me do that. We'll get this cool video pulled up. This can be like my pause screen for now. Oh my goodness, I got earbud pieces falling everywhere. Hitting that one a good amount too. Oh, that's much better. I mean, it is true though. Like, if you miss something in enumeration, you could completely screw yourself over. In fact, I won't say what box it was. Yeah, exactly. I'm just stealing it from YouTube. I won't say what box it was, but I completely owned a box one time just because of enumeration. And it was something that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So there is a lot of truth to that. You need to find everything. You need to enumerate fully. Don't skip anything. Where are we here? Turbo Intruder. So I just updated burp. My headphones are staying in my ears now. That's great. I think this is the updated version, isn't it? I thought I updated it. Maybe I need to kill it. Start over. Oh, I have 2 now. So I'm thinking this is the new version. So it didn't warn me about updating this time. This must be the new version. So we got the extension, Turbo Intruder extension. Basic use. To use it, simply highlight the area you want to inject over, then right click and send to Turbo Intruder. This will open a window containing a Python snippet which you can customize before launching the attack. For full instructions, please refer to the documentation. So this is our lab. The lab's 2-factor authentication is vulnerable to brute forcing. You have already obtained a valid username and password, but do not have access to the user's 2FA verification code. To solve the lab, brute force the 2FA code and access Carlos's account page. Victims' credentials are Carlos and Montoya. Hint. Oh, this is why. Okay, yeah, I just started reading the hint right away. Turbo Intruder. This is the doc we might need. Let's open up the lab. For OSCP, 90% of enumeration is proper Nmap scans. I found auto recon was too much enumeration for me. I've heard that before. I've heard that some people don't like to dig through all the output from auto recon. And I guess I've seen that a few times as well. You know, sometimes it does get to be excessive. But you have to realize that you're saying too much enumeration, and there's never such a thing. There is not too much enumeration. It is a lot to dig through. But I guess I just got used to like finding the signal in the noise. I used auto recon for all my studying, and I suppose it was probably about a year of using it before I took the OSCP. You'll need burp macros. In conjunction, we need to use both. I've never used the macros before. Oh, okay. This is the same thing. Oh, we could have just installed it in the Burp App Store. The BAP Store. Extender. BAP Store. What was that one called? Turbo Intruder. LMNOPQRST. Turbo Intruder. Install. Perfect. Now we'll go back to the lab. We'll turn on, well, yeah, we'll turn that on. We just won't turn on intercept yet. And then we need those creds. Carlos Montoya. We'll go to my account. Montoya. Never save. Please enter your 4-digit security code. Let's go ahead and turn on intercept. And we'll start with quad 0, because that's probably right. And send it to turbo intruder. Is that one? I think it's in the extensions. Turbo, send to turbo intruder. Some Python, 4Q requests, target word list. We need to select a word list then. Strongest password equals 1234. Agreed. That's a good one. Also password with the @ instead of an A. That's always good. For I in range 38, engine Q, target Rex, rand string I. Learn is 1. I don't know what this engine Q crap is. Oh, engine is request engine. Well, I can't see all the code here, so I'm not sure what that request engine is. Maybe that's part of, maybe this is calling a function in burp directly. Request engine. I mean, that would make sense. The request engine is probably how we're sending requests. Yeah, password with $signs or hunter 2. For word in open user share dict words. So this is our word list. I don't think we have that one, do we? And we don't want to use that anyway. We want to use like a word list of, let's go to home, Port Swigger, WebAcademy. Oh, we're already in, we can CD authentication. I did that as a joke at first, but it kind of, I mean, it was a joke to me, but some people actually say authentication. I didn't think it was proper English, but I guess it is. And I'm just kind of digging it now. I kind of enjoy saying authentication. We'll call this one 2FA. And oh, I already did that. I already got the 4-digit pin. Cat 4-digit pin. Perfect. So we'll use that. It's in home, Nate, Port Swigger, WebAcademy, authentication. I don't remember what it was called. 4digipin.txt. And then I don't have a whole lot of faith in myself that this is gonna work. I guess we'll see. We're still getting rate limited. Status 0? What? I'm not feeling too great about the responses here. Thinking I might have butched that. Turbo Intruder embracing the billion request attack. Automated web application attacks are terminally limited by the number of HTTP requests they can send. It's impossible to know how many hacks have gone off the rails because you didn't quite manage to brute force a password, missed a race condition, or failed to find a crucial folder. In this presentation, I introduced and demo and distribute Turbo Intruder, a research-grade open-source burp suite extension built from scratch with speed in mind. I also discuss underlying HTTP abuse that enables it to go so fast, so you can attain similar speeds in any tools you happen to write. This is a live stream recording from Bug Crowd's Level Up 03 online conference. Some homework. We'll have to read through this and watch the video. For now, just give me the TLDR. This will open a window containing a Python snippet looking something like this. Get static s. You can customize this code depending on what you want to achieve with your attack. Basic use, you'll notice that the area of the request that you highlighted has been replaced with %s. This is where your payloads will be placed. To begin with, you'll probably just want to change user shared dict words to a more suitable word list, such as our 4-digit pin list. Other than that, the default script should work out of the box for simple use cases. You can start, stop, and attack using Control-Enter. A word of caution, Turbo Intruder achieves speeds through network level efficiency, so it should remain relatively performant even on poor network connections. My first live demo was done on a pub basement. Done in a pub basement using Wi-Fi borrowed from the coffee shop next door and still achieved a few hundred requests per second. This means that the target website will probably be a limiting factor for how fast it can run. As it uses a low number of concurrent connections, it should be unlikely to cause the classic denial of service situation where a server's connection pool is consumed by and nobody else can connect. However, targeting a resource-intensive page may make the server struggle and slow down for everyone, so monitoring application performance during the attacks is advised. In Turbo Intruder, responses don't get placed in the results table automatically. Instead, the handler response function is called, in which you can decide whether to add a response to the table. Here's a simple example. Well, is that what we're doing? I don't know. It doesn't let me see the Python anymore. I'm a bit confused here. We shouldn't have 0 status. I mean, we're getting null. Why are we getting nulls? This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Has anybody used this extension before? It doesn't really seem to be working very well for me. Well, I'm gonna halt it then, and I guess configure. If interesting, table add request. Why would it be failing? I guess let's try just doing it by hand a few times. Invalid CSRF token. Session does not contain a CSRF token. Okay. Uh-oh. HSTS got me. Let's open the lab up again. Turbo Intruder. We don't need this one yet. So in this case, we're saying 200 OK in request response, add to table. But I mean, we're not even getting, we're getting a 0 code. We're getting null reply. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's figure out why that's happening. What was our credential? Carlos Montoya. We'll turn on the proxy. And I probably should have turned intercept on as well, but we could, well, no, that's not true. I didn't need it yet. Now I do. We'll do quad 0 again and see what happens. This time we're going to send it to repeater, and we'll do a couple of manual requests to see what we're supposed to get back as a response. $200 response code. Sorry if you can hear the train going by. Incorrect security code. So let's see if we can use the same token. Well, does this one tell us to change the token? Yes. but it's the same, 1H. Let's see if we can send the next one up. 200 response code, incorrect token. So I don't really see why we need to use Turbo Intruder for this, unless it's gonna kick us out after so many requests. Yeah, that's what happens. We get 2 requests with the token, and then it's like, hey dude, your token's jacked. So we might actually not need the what's it called, the application, the burp app. We might be able to do this with like a grep extract. So we'll go back to proxy, we'll send this. Oh, that was the old one. We'll get rid of that. And it's mad again. Carlos Montoya. Turn on intercept. Quad 0. And then we're going to send this to repeater again. So on our first request, we'll use quad 0. And then we're just going to take a look. I probably could look at the history instead of doing this, but I think it's going to change this CSRF token. Maybe, maybe not. So this first request, it doesn't care. Like, we can do another one. I think this time around it'll give us a different one, maybe. Oh, it's our cookie. They're saying to change our cookie and the CSRF token as well. So if we change those, will it let us keep going? Perfect. No, internal server error. Oh no. No user logged in, so we need to log in again. I guess I don't really know how to do this. What level is this? Expert. Well, you know, I was thinking earlier today. I'm really like trying to go for like I'm trying to go wide, not deep right now, because there are some parts of the OWASP top 10 that I haven't touched, and there are some vulnerabilities that I haven't touched. So anytime that we get to an expert module, I was thinking I'll probably just skip it for 2 reasons. First of all, a lot of them are pretty challenging, and it's not ideal to try to figure that out as you're learning with an audience, but also because a lot of times it's easier to do those ones with Burp Pro. So I think I'm actually going to just skip this one, and we'll go on. We're going to start skipping the expert ones because I really want to get through this. I'll circle back and do the expert ones, but for now, I mean, I might even just stick to apprentice. Well, that's not true. We'll do apprentice and practitioner. So we're done with 2FA. Now we can look at the other authentication mechanisms, vulnerabilities. And actually, before I start reading this, I'm going to take a break and go get some more water. I hope you take a break too. Get up, walk around, stretch your legs, get something to drink. If you're in the United States like I am, it's starting to get dry outside, and it's really important to stay hydrated. Well, at least the part of the United States I'm in. So we'll see you in 5 minutes. Enjoy the break. I was muted. All right, we're back now. With other vulnerabilities or other authentication mechanisms. So in this section, we'll look at some of the supplementary functionality that is related to authentication and demonstrate how these can be vulnerable. We've also created several interactive labs you can use to put what you've learned into practice. In addition to the basic login functionality, most websites provide supplementary functionality to allow users to manage their account. For example, users can usually change their password, reset their password when they forget it. These mechanisms can also introduce vulnerabilities that can be exploited by an attacker, like you could enumerate usernames in some of those. Websites usually take care to avoid well-known vulnerabilities in their login pages, but it's easy to overlook the fact that you need to take similar steps to ensure that related functionality is equally as robust. This is especially important in cases where an attacker is able to create their own account and consequently has easy access to study these additional pages. Keeping users logged in. A common feature is the option to stay logged in even after closing a browser session. This is usually a simple checkbox labeled something like Remember Me or Keep Me Logged In. This functionality is often implemented by generating a Remember Me token of some kind, which is then stored in a persistent cookie. As possessing this cookie effectively allows you to bypass the entire login process, it is best practice for this cookie to be impractical to guess. However, some websites generate this cookie based on a predictable concatenation of static values such as the username and the timestamp. Some even use... I've already done this. I don't know why I'm reading through all this. I already did this one. But for consistency, I'll keep reading. Some even use passwords as part of the cookie. This approach is particularly dangerous if an attacker is able to create their own account because they can study their own cookie and deduce how it is generated. Once they work out the formula, they can try to brute force other users' cookies to gain access to their accounts. You know what? I bet I skipped that 2FA one and did this on the last stream. I'm sorry for the repeat content, you guys, but it's what is that? Repetition leads to perfection or something like that. Practice makes perfect. Some websites assume that if the cookie is encrypted in some way, it will not be guessable even if it does use static values. While this may be true if done correctly, naively encrypting the cookie using simple two-way encoding like base64, yeah, I wouldn't call that encryption, offers no protection whatsoever. Even using proper encryption with a one-way hash function is not completely bulletproof. If the attacker is able to easily identify the hashing algorithm and no salt is used, they can potentially brute force the cookie by simply hashing their word list. This method can be used to bypass login attempts if a similar limit isn't applied to cookie guesses. So I guess we can take a look at this one again. This lab allows users to stay logged in even after they close the browser session. The cookie used to provide this functionality is vulnerable to brute forcing. To solve the lab, brute force Carlos's cookie to gain access to his My Account page. So we can log in as Wiener Peter, take a look at the cookie, and then use it to figure out what Carlos's cookie is. Username, Wiener. That's wrong. I'm pretty sure it's IE. Yeah. Wiener Peter, stay logged in. Never save. We're going to take a look at the cookies now. We have a stay logged in cookie right here. And, I mean, is it base 64? Echo this. Base 64. Decode. Invalid option. Look at that. And then we have this. I remember doing this one now. We just actually should do this. So this is gonna base 64 decode to our password, I think. Oh, maybe not. MD5. I think it was MD5. MD5. I probably should just take a look at that and burp. It's a little bit easier. Burp decoder. Decoder. Let's get that full value again. So we decode as base 64. And then we'll take this part, decode as MD5, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was MD5. I promise I'm not a robot. At least not anymore. Yeah, so this is MD5. So we need to do some sort of processor. Let's log out. Let's write a note. No. So we start with username, password, and then we're gonna take username, MD5 encoded password, or MD5 hashed, and then the whole thing is base 64. So we'll log out. We'll go to my account. Intercept is on. Proxy is on. Username. Carlos. Password. We're trying to brute force the stay logged in password though. So I guess we just need to... Oh man. We should probably just log in as Wiener Peter again. So we're going to be brute forcing this one. We'll get rid of the session. We're going to send it over. Oof, really feeling for Twitter folks right now. Sucks to know that you'll get email tomorrow at 9 a.m. that determines if you have a job. Ooh, what? What's going on with Twitter? They're just going to like dump a bunch of people or what? I missed the news on that one. So we'll get rid of the session token and we'll just have the stay logged in. First of all, let's see if that works. 200 okay, brute forcing stay logged in. Back to description. So that does work. So we're just going to be brute forcing this one here. We'll go back to intruder. We're going to set a position there. And now we need to come up with a word list. So it is going to be sniper. We'll use a simple list and we're going to use the passwords. Payload processing. So add prefix. The prefix is going to be Carlos : and then we're gonna... Do we need to MD5 encode it first? Or hash it? Hash MD5. So we'll move that up. So first we'll add the MD5. Yeah, this is kind of out of order. But essentially we're going to MD5 hash, and then we'll put this username prefix on, and then we'll base 64 encode the whole thing. Base 64. Base encoding. Base 64. There we go. Looks good to me. We'll go ahead and start the attack. Okay. Per Reuters, Twitter will alert employees by 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow about whether they will be laid off, the company said in an email to staff per Reuters. Huh. Well, that's a bummer. I don't really follow all the big tech news, which is probably bad for me. I mostly focus my time on studying, but I need to get better about keeping track of what's happening. I think I saw something about Elon Musk actually purchasing Twitter, but that might have just been some nonsense. Why are these all getting 302s? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Oh, it's sending us to login. We want one that's sending us to my account, I think. These are all going to my account. No, we're doing a get to my account. These are not the responses. Here's our answer. Response 200 okay. So we can use this session, this one here, this stay logged in token, to open it up. I'll turn off the proxy, reload the page, and then we'll just add that in. Oh, it already worked, but just like proof of what we did, we'll do that, get rid of that, and then send it. Maybe. I mean, it worked, but I'm not logged in. I don't know why. Cool. Well, we're done with that one. What's next? Even if the attacker is not able to create their own account, they may still be able to exploit this vulnerability using the usual techniques such as cross-site scripting. An attacker could steal another user's Remember Me cookie and deduce how the cookie is constructed from that. If the website was built using open source framework, the key details of the cookie construction may even be publicly documented. In some rare cases, it may be possible to obtain a user's actual password in clear text from a cookie, even if it is hashed. Hashed versions of well-known password lists are available online, so if the user's password appears in one of these lists, decrypting the hash can occasionally be as trivial as just pasting the hash in a search engine. This demonstrates the importance of SALT in an effective encryption. Offline password cracking. Yeah, Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion. The deal closed last Friday. He's potentially laying off between 50 to 70% of the company tomorrow, according to reports. Huh. I mean, I don't know anything other than what you're telling me. That's a bummer for the people that are getting laid off, but I haven't heard a whole lot of Elon doing bad things, so we'll see. I mean, I'm sure he has a good reason for it. I can't imagine he's just wrecking that many people's careers. Not that he's wrecking their careers, but I can't imagine he's just laying them off for no reason. Or who knows, like it could just be like a fake news type thing to try to crash the stock price. It's probably something political, some kind of politics involved. That's why I try to avoid the news, because there's too much politics. This lab stores the user's password in a password hash in a cookie. The lab also contains a cross-site scripting vulnerability in the comment functionality. To solve this, obtains Carlos' stay logged in cookie and use it to crack his password. Then log in as Carlos and delete his account from the My Accounts page. Did I already finish this one too? I haven't finished that one, but I've definitely like skipped it. Were we already way farther than this? Or am I just jumping around? Twitter is not in the stock market anymore. It's gone private. Oh, well. I guess in that case, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. How does that work? If you own stock in Twitter and they decide to go private, do you get your money back, or is it just gone? Let's log in as Wiener Peter. I remember this challenge. So we didn't solve this one last time because it's cross-site scripting, and I still need to learn the nuances. I'm pretty sure that we've done this. I'm pretty sure that we've done all of this on stream even, so I'm not going to redo it. And this one, I think the brute force took a long time. $54 for Twitter, I think. Yeah, your stock is automatically sold at the price it was sold. That makes sense. I suppose to go back private, the CEO or the owner or whoever would just have to buy all the stock back, and so they just force that transaction, I imagine. Yeah, I think we're going to say that we're done with authentication now, which we probably were already. What's the next one in the learning path? Directory traversal. In this section, we'll explain what directory traversal is, describing how to carry out path traversal attacks and circumvent common obstacles, and spell out how to prevent path traversal vulnerabilities. If you're already familiar with the basic concept behind directory traversal and just want to practice exploiting them in some realistic, deliberately vulnerable targets, you can access all of the labs from this topic from the link below. Let's try that. Maybe we can skip the learning part. Well, the whole point of this is to teach and learn, so actually we're not going to skip it. We're going to go through it. It's essentially this, right? Instead of a parameter receiving a file name, you're sending it a path traversal, which the .. / in Linux is to go up a directory. We do that a few times. It allows us to get to the root directory, which has something such as our etc password file. The etc password file is going to tell you all the users, as well as if you're on an older system, it's going to have the was it the SHA-512 hash in there. That might be newer, but in newer Linux systems, there's just an X in the spot where that hash belongs, and those hashes are in the etc shadow file now. So if you're able to dump the etc shadow file as well as etc password, you could potentially crack some credentials. Directory traversal, also known as path traversal, is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to read arbitrary files on the server that is running in an application. This might include application code and data credentials for backend systems and sensitive operating system files. In some cases, an attacker might be able to write arbitrary files on the server, allowing them to modify application data, behavior, and ultimately take full control of the server. So something like if you have access to the access log on an Apache web server, there's an access log that logs all requests to the server. If you make a manual request and inject some PHP or something like that in the request, when you go to load the file, that PHP may execute and give you remote code execution. That's something I've had to use a few times in Capture the Flag challenges. Reading arbitrary files via directory traversal. Consider shopping application. So we have image source equals load image. Question mark file name equals 218 PNG. The load image URL takes a file name parameter and returns the contents. So that's what this is here. It's a parameter, and then this is the value that we're sending to the parameter. And this is the base directory that this parameter is pulling from. So 218.png is here. In order to get to root, we would do .. // and then we're at this root directory, and then we could do like etc password .. / right there. This causes the application to read from the following path, which these cancel. Oh my gosh, this cancels this out, this cancels this out, this cancels this out, and then you're left with just etc password. And that's exactly what this says here, etc password. So let's go to the first lab. File path traversal, simple case. This lab contains file path traversal. So the first thing we're going to do is just manually browse around and look for a parameter to show up. In this case, we have a product ID 1. And that might be the only thing we're going to get. So let's just try it here. ... And you really can't go overboard with these ... slashes, because once you're in root, the worst thing that's going to happen is it's just going to try to go back to root, go back to root, go back to root, go back to root. Invalid product ID. Retrieve the contents of etc password. Well, there's got to be more to the application than just that if it's wanting us to receive or retrieve the etc password. Is there another parameter? In the display of product images. Oh no. So I guess we can examine the requests a little bit more. Maybe one of the requests is loading that image. So we'll go ahead and load that again. Make sure intercept is turned on. We have a product ID, but we don't have anything about images yet. Here we go. It's this one right here. So we can just send this to repeater. See, that image hasn't loaded yet. This request here is getting the image. And we'll send. Did we send it to repeater? I tried to. So first of all, we'll just send it. We see that we get 200 OK, and then the image well, the contents of the image file, which was what, a JPEG file. So if you did cat on a JPEG file, this is what you'd see. We'll go dot dot slash 3 times, Etsy password. And we have the Etsy password file. So how do we finish this one? Is that enough? Root www data. And there's no like user in there. I wonder if pulling it is enough to pass the challenge. Yay! So this is very similar to one of the rooms in Try Hack Me. File path traversal. We'll just go through these. So once again, we need to read Etsy password. The application blocks traversal sequences, but treats something. It's, yeah, we need to bypass the filtering. Probably it's just stripping out any instance of dot dot slash, so we just need to double up our slashes and dots so that the first pass of stripping still leaves another set of dot dot slashes. That might not make sense, but once you see it, it will. Go ahead and reload this. This first one will forward. The second one will send to repeater. And then we'll go to repeater and try dot dot slash Etsy password. Probably gonna fail. No such file. So we'll add another dot slash. That doesn't look right. Slash dot dot. So what I was trying to say essentially is when they strip out the dot dot slash, boom, we're left with another dot dot slash. Oh, that's not the answer. All right. Maybe I should have read more. You might be able to use absolute path, file name, Etsy password. Oh, okay, we'll try that. Boom. Indeed. We don't even need traversal. It just lets us go to the root directory. So this is what I was talking about. This is where we'll need those quad dot double slash. Burp. I don't know if it's just a health problem or if it's because I'm working with Burp Suite, but I feel like I've been burping a lot more since I started working on this. Do you think that subconsciously just seeing the word burp all the time is making me burp more? What do you think about that? We'll go back to proxy, forward that, forward. This is the one we want to send to repeater. dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash Etsy password. And then it's not going to recursively strip these out, but it is going to strip them out. So we'll throw in another dot dot slash so that when they're stripped, we get it. And there's the Etsy password file. We'll go ahead and turn intercept off. And then we should get a solved message. Maybe we have to reload. Zap gang. Yeah. Let me open up Zap because then I'll feel electrified instead of burping all the time. I really wish Burp had the heads up display. I like that feature of Zap so much. Oh no, HSTS got me again. Oh, what did I do? So this one is using encoded characters. WRL encoding resulting in that or that. Non-standard encodings or that may also do the trick for Burp professional users. Burp Intruder provides a predefined payload list, fuzzing path traversal, which contains a variety of encoded path traversal techniques or sequences that you can try. Is that not part of the word list? Fuzzing is not one. Secless. Fuzzing. LFI. Is that LFI? I'm pretty sure that's LFI. Etsy files of all Linux. Oh, Jay Haddix has a list in there. That's pretty cool. Fuzz boom. What are we looking for? We're looking for fuzzing path traversal. Locate traversal. User share Metasploit. User share nmap secless payload file names directory traversal.zip. I'm not too sure why this is Burp Pro. Why does it say it's only included in Burp Pro? Provides a predefined payload list. Fuzzing path traversal. Oh, it's one of the payload lists. Gotcha. So if we're in Intruder and we're looking at payloads, one of them is fuzzing path traversal. But since we're using community, we don't have access to that. I feel like that would be super easy just to find on GitHub. Oh no. No. I can't even click in the right spots. I must be getting tired. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. Copy that. And we'll go to, well, we might as well put it here. wget sudo wget traversal, path traversal. We want to use that as a, well, we just want the Etsy password ones. So that will be this one here. Product images, blocks input containing path traversal, then performs URL decode of the input before using it. Oh, well, that's backwards. I mean, not backwards, but you'd want to recursively do that, I think, for proper protection. We might not even need the list. So it's going to strip the output and then decode it. So if we just, not the output, the input, if we just encode our ... slashes, we should be safe. We'll go ahead and forward that first request. Send to repeater. And then here we're going to do ... slash Etsy password. We'll go ahead and URL encode that. Convert URL, encode key characters, send. Did I click send? Oh, it didn't encode. Convert URL, encode all characters. No such file. Apparently ... slash is not key characters. Why is that not working? Bad request. The application blocks input containing path traversal sequences. It then performs a URL decode of the input before using it. Well, maybe we can directly access it. Probably not, but it's worth a try. No. No such file. Maybe we need to double up on these again and then encode them all. Maybe it knows the sequence of encoded traversal sequences. So we'll encode that. Not working. Not sure why. Maybe I need to read more. Let's try this one. Non-standard encoding. Nope. Oh, we didn't try to double encode it. Encode twice, convert URL, all characters, convert URL, all characters. Hey, it worked. So we had to double encode that time. What are we at? Like an hour and a half, just about. Not too shabby. It is getting to be kind of late though, so I'm gonna keep going here for a little bit. We'll give it another 15 minutes, and then I think I'm gonna drop off, get some good sleep. I'm coming down with something, and going to sleep is very important. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. So I need that right now, more than usual. Especially with this new job, I need to be, you know, on mental edge and just ready to take in everything that's happening around me. That's honestly, you guys, that's the thing I'm the most excited about for this new position is they say surround yourself with people that you want to be like, and you know, you become an average of the 5 people that you're around the most or whatever. And I want to be a really good hacker. So being on a team of really good hackers is going to be, I think, really, really good for me in that regard, because I feel like these guys are a lot smarter than me, which is awesome. And that's how I feel about you guys in chat too. Some of the stuff that I see coming from chat, it's like, wow, you guys know what the heck's going on. So that's incredible. And I think that's been super beneficial to me. It's a lot different than what I've been doing for most of my life, but I have a new appreciation for that. Surround yourself with smart people and you'll just start getting smarter. If you're not like closed in with blinders on or anything like that. We do have just a couple more. Maybe we can knock out this before. Oh, do a full path. That's interesting. We'll knock this out, and then who knows? Maybe we'll get into the next thing too. JWT. This is something I've been learning a little bit about, JWTs. There's no I in team, but there is an am. So we're going to turn on proxy. We're going to launch the page. Oh, I closed burp. What was I thinking? I wasn't. That's the answer. I wasn't. Yeah, I probably need to reinstall Kali, or I've been wanting to switch over to Parrot for a little while. You got to keep that brain elasticity up, right? So having your close and maximize on the right hand side all the time, it's just not good. You know, switch up your sock drawer, change your OS, move stuff so that it's not where you expect it to be. It can help prevent brain disease. Did you know that? And maybe that's not true. I heard that one time that throwing yourself for loops, not falling into a pattern, can help prevent things like Alzheimer's and help increase brain elasticity, which helps you essentially learn better and adapt better to novel situations. Here's the full path for the image file. I mean, can we just go straight for the... Well, first of all, let's keep that intact and send it to repeater. Can we just go straight for Etsy password here? No. Missing parameter file name. I am not. It's right there. Can't you read? Let's change that back. And we'll add some dot slashes in there. Dot slash, dot slash. That's 1, 2, dot slash, Etsy. Password. Boom. You guys ever seen the crazy Russian hacker on YouTube? He's always like, and boom, it's done. My wife and I do that all the time. It's pretty fun. I'm going to start doing that every time that I finish a challenge. And boom, it's done. If it gets annoying, please tell me to stop. And boom, it's done. What is next? More directory traversal. Access the lab. We'll turn on the proxy. We'll make sure intruder or intercept is turned on. Go ahead and click into one of these. Accept the nonsense. Forward. And then we'll send this one to repeater again. And I mean, I don't really know what we're going to be doing this time. I didn't read anything about it. We'll just try a couple things. No such file. All right, we'll go straight for Etsy password. No such file. Now we'll cheat and look at what the advice was beforehand. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If an application requires that the user, I know, so first of all, I know what this is. This is like, I think it's called a magic byte. No, a null byte. And when you put this in here, it's telling the application to stop reading. So anything after it doesn't get read. So this doesn't get read, essentially. But why? Why do you need to specify that? Oh, because the file name must end with an expected file extension or else it gets filtered. All right, that's why. So we need to have the null byte. Boom, boom, boom. Where's my percent? Boop. .jpg. Will it let us go straight for Etsy password? Nope. We'll have to add the directory traversal in there. Now it should work. There it is. We'll turn proxy off because, you know, we don't want this to be getting caught. And boom, it's done. What's the next one? That's all of them, I think. That's all the directory traversals. We have traversed directories. How to properly prevent it. So if you don't want that stuff to happen to you, if you're a developer, the most effective way to prevent file path traversal vulnerabilities is to avoid passing user-supplied input to file system APIs altogether. Many application functions that do this can be rewritten to deliver the same behavior in a safer way. If it is considered unavoidable to pass user-supplied input to file system APIs, then 2 layers of defense should be used together to prevent attacks. The application should validate the user input before processing it. Ideally, the validation should compare against a whitelist of permitted values, which I think this is called an allow list now. Whatever. I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything. I just think that words are not that important. Words are important, but come on, guys. If that isn't possible for the required functionality, then the validation should verify that the input contains only permitted content, such as purely alphanumeric characters. After validating the supplied input, the application should append the input to the base directory and use a platform file system API to canonical. How do you say that? Pronounce. Let me hear it. Is it going to let me hear it through remote desktop? Nope, it doesn't. It's getting all kinds of mad at me that I'm not logged into YouTube, though. Sorry, Google. Don't want you to be tracking my cookies and such. Here, we'll pause the music. We'll get it pulled up in here. Canonicalize. 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 Got it. After validating the supplied input, the application should append the input to the base directory and use a platform file system API to canonicalize. That's pretty easy now. To canonicalize the path, it should verify that the canonicalized path starts with the expected base directory. Below is an example of some simple Java code. Is there such a thing? No, I'm just kidding. I started looking at Java. I was doing a short little spree of Android development, just some simple app development. And so I started diving into Java. It's not that difficult. Every time I see Java, I just get kind of scared a little bit. Validate the canonicalized path of a file based on user input. So we have file equals new file. This is like a data type. This is the name of a variable. This is calling out that it's a new file or a new instantiation of this class. We're passing in the base directory as well as user input. If file get canonicalized path starts with base directory process file. So the file get canonicalized path method. So essentially we're getting the full path of a file. So if we did do some kind of directory traversal, then we'll see that the full canonicalized path is just /etc password, and that it does not start with the base directory, which is where we're wanting to pull files from. That's how you remediate it in Java. What is next? What do we got? 5 minutes. I guess we could start the next thing, but I feel like that's going to be command injection. Did somebody say, oh, shell shock? Is that... Oh, this is even simpler than that. We're just directly injecting stuff in the URL. Does anybody in chat just want to chat for the last 5 minutes? I don't know if I can get through this in 5 minutes. Probably not. And I don't really want to start it. I feel bad getting just like a small chunk done and then ending the stream there. Plus it makes it way harder to organize it in YouTube. So I'm actually going to stop.